strange dinner, but sounds good. I really like the soup I made. And I'm probably never going to be able to remember the exact combination of ingredients I put into it, but that's fine. It had kale and cabbage, onion, of course. I forgot to put garlic in it. I think that would have made it even better. One of the local import markets had burdock root, so I got some of that, and I really liked it. And put that in the soup, and it had potato and carrot and some pho, soup stock stuff, and some chicken broth, and some homemade bone broth, and some various other seasonings I tossed in. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Let's... Oh, I'm sorry you tried to call. Alright, I missed your call. What was that? What the heck? This weekend I might go to Toy Mania. I don't know if I will, though, but, like, I might. My, name tag should be where I've left it since, like, last autumn. I still haven't put together a water jug for the basket pack. I probably got the email, and then I got buried under a bunch of other emails, and then I didn't see it. That keeps happening. No, I didn't. Skelebee's in the other room. They're doing fine. Yeah, Ro is one of my IRL friends. Anna and Lilith here. My phone, like, it will get notifications, and then sometimes it'll tell me that I will, like, get a text or something literally hours later. Although I do have a new phone, so it could just be that I didn't have the volume up loud enough and I didn't hear it. It's so weird, like, the volume is all over the place. Yeah, my old phone didn't get noticed very well, and sometimes I feel like my service just doesn't work too good. Found family can be friends, although I know you mean, like, close friends or whatever. But yeah, I guess if you stop by at some point, let me know beforehand. I'll try to get the thing. I need to text Becky and make sure she's doing good. I figure she's doing good. I need to put together one of my little leather keychains for. I made a pattern for one that's... There it is. It's gonna be like a little, Buddha with flowers on its head. Mm. I'll try to remember to say Rose says hi when I send her a text at some point. I don't really mix this too dark, but it does look nice and dry, which is good. I'll have to just put some of the lighter brown over the top and kind of work up the layers. Like put a black wash over it to bring out all the creases even more. I'll probably do the washes and stuff and that sort of thing when I have like everything together to make sure nothing warps. Nice. I can't remember if I've seen Your Lie in April. Like, I feel like I have. But also, I can't remember anything about it. Yeah, I'm working on this for the little house auction. Because I don't have that part painted, I can show you, but this is the tree house. And, come on. Close enough. Show on there. This opens. I'm going to be putting some little things inside that I'm working on. And it's going to be a haunted treehouse. So it's been long abandoned, and the tree it's in is dead and drying up. And there's going to be little ghosts in the treehouse, and cobwebs, and everything's going to be all dusty and broken. Pistachio, do you want to go up? Do you want to go to the windowsill? No, you want to go up there? Okay, there you go. Please don't knock over my camera cat. Baby! Baby! You are accused of baby. How do you plead? Guilty on all charges. Your sentence is 1,000,000 pats on your cute little head. I can't reach you right now, so your sentence will be delayed, but I'll get you. I'll freaking get you, cat. Are you gonna say if it was gay? That reminds me, I read a really good one-off comic recently called Gay and Devastating. There you go. Read a really good comic recently called Laura Jane Keeps Breaking Up With Me. It's about a high school girl who's in love with another high school girl who is kind of a fucking train wreck. And she kind of has to learn how to get out of the toxic situation and, like, stand up for herself and find a better partner. I'm not usually too into romance stuff, but the character writing and dialogue feel very natural. The art style is beautiful. I love the composition and flow of the panels and the speech bubbles and stuff. And also it's a one-off story, so I always like that. It's one graphic novel. It is gay and emotionally turbulent and has beautiful art, so you'd probably like it. The hot glue I put on the ends here didn't entirely work, but I think it's fine in like a stylistic kind of way. Yeah, sometimes if I'm like not sitting in the usual spot I sit on the couch, I'm like sitting on the other couch or something, Pistachiel will like come up and like rub against Basil's legs if they're there or something, and then look over the other couch and notice me and be like, "What? You're on the couch, and whose legs are these?" And who's flying the plane? Try to use my non-dominant hand, because my dominant hand is having a hard time. Ow, ow. Posture check. Make sure your leg's not falling asleep like mine is. Check. Ow. Oh, yeah. I don't know why cats have like a natural inclination to stand right behind people's legs when they're in a kitchen, like standing at a stove or something. You can very easily step on them, but cats sure do love doing that. She is very cat. And that sucks about your guts. God, I wish gay people were real. All my friends could stop being imaginary. That's from the, pull that up. The April Fools, when they're doing like the, Popa de Papiku thing. Oh my god.
Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and happy early April Fool's Day.
Happy April Fool.
Well, the thing is, there's something funny going on in
I forgot to post something stupid and dumb for April Fools. Whatever.
There's not like a different kind of a Kyoku we'll be seeing.
I could have posted a thing to the bulletin board on my server, like, I'm deleting this server, sayonara, weeaboo fucks, and then be like, just kidding, April Fools.
Log in for at least 5 days to get all 5 of these. featuring the Madoka characters in a funny cartoon-like design. And also, let's not forget about this one here, the first anniversary login bonus. And also the login bonus, the standard one, which you'll get like renewed every week. Or every time when you log in seven more times. All new Kyoku. Let's see what this is about.
Oh my god. Oh, no, I haven't seen that yet. I forgot about it. They're requiring us. God, WNR just gets worse and worse. Yeah, just leave them. I recently joined Cheesy Art, which I didn't realize was still around.
Oh boy.
Why are the subtitles so hard to read on this? Yay!
What the hell was that, bro?
It's actually really cute.
Okay, I'm not gonna continue playing this because there's copyrighted music in there. Okay, the Lighthouse Stamp Rally. This has nothing to do with the actual story.
Nice, you finally got your Facebook back, so now you can properly delete it. Well, the reason I even have a Facebook is there were some people who wanted, like, art swap notifications on there. I might just delete it, because I hate Facebook. But also, it would help reach out to people, so I'm like,
Okay, so there's now an event featuring characters in a cartoonish style. We're gonna look at that in an upcoming video. Eventually. Let's see. There's also this event is gonna have a big reward. So this one is not other than like the characters that not under like some rewards that we get from the event. This one's actually a big deal because if you complete this event, you can get yourself a 3-star Kyoku Madoka Senpai.
Nice.
So yes, this is not a 5-star but rather a 3-star. So that means this Kyoku would not have special ability. Instead,
Okay, well I guess I can try my idea of
even though this character is a 3 stars, if you
painting the ends of the branches a bit lighter.
She can pretty much cause havoc in the battlefield. Which
why are you typing so fast?
For now, this is just an announcement. So
it's a bit loud.
Anyways, that's it for the video. I don't want to like have them both mixed up together, you know, when it comes to like for April Fool's content and the actual summoning content. So I'm gonna split those into two, so that way it won't.
I'll try to remember to watch that later. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule.
See y'all later for
so depending on what I do after stream, because I still need to catch up on like PBS NewsHour and stuff like that. I'll either watch it tonight or tomorrow. But the last time it was really funny, so I'll definitely watch the Limco one this year. Too. Mario Galaxy movie looks really weird. I think they're marketing it in a really weird way. Like, I don't get why they're trying to make it all, like, dramatic. It's funny that you pissed off the robot so much as send you to a real person. Yeah, the reenactment stuff. Aww. Oh yeah, changing the layer settings, and messing with like multiply and screen and soft light, hard light, vivid light, and stuff like that. You can have a lot of really fun stuff. Interact with Madoka? I might try with like the base brown and go down with that. Well, no, I'll mix in some of the gray I already have. This needs to be a tiny, tiny bit darker. Not nice. You want someone else who's really autistic about sewing machines. There we go. Just a little bit of that darker color. Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, OpenTune's one of those things I should probably think about if I continue doing like animated stream assets for people, or like if I want to do like animated art fight attacks for people in the future, or even just little fun things. I used to try to animate a lot more. Mostly that was back when DeviantArt was good. And there was a whole fun thing of like making animated avatars for you and your friends that would like go together, so that if you put them side by side in a journal or something like that, you know, they would like interact with each other, and it would be really cute. And that's gonna look like a part of the tree that broke off, so I don't have to worry about painting that too good because I need a lighter color in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I deleted my idea a while ago. Like, I rejoined just because I wanted to use art sites more. But it sucks, and they put in like a new AI art thing, and I don't know if they changed it, but they really pissed off everyone when they made it so that you were opt-in by default for allowing your work to be scraped for their AI generative stuff and generation. So that was fucked up because there are people who don't have access to their accounts anymore. There are people who are fucking dead and can't like do anything about their accounts and all their work that's still up on there. So I left purely because of that. Because I was like, I have the option to turn mine off, so I'm going to turn it off and also delete everything on my account and also delete my account because fuck you. But I was still pissed off for all the people who couldn't do that. I have moss, don't worry. I might use some moss. I mostly want it to look like dry, but I do have some moss that I can add. I'd add some like under the tree. Mostly when I start painting like the details and stuff on the little house, I want to put a bunch of like rusty spots on the roof because it is a tin roof. A tin roof. I know you like moss. Mm. Mm. I guess that's a positive way to look at it. I left my old account a long time ago too because I just got tired of the site. Yeah, I joined Sheezy Art because I was like, yo, Sheezy still exists? I never joined it about a long time ago. And they seem like they're still okay. So I still have to like actually set up my profile and like post stuff, but that is an art site, but it's still running. I think it'd be harder to miss these spots that I'm missing that are like really shiny, but somehow I just keep missing them. Mm. Hmm. I had Nightshade and Glaze are two there are two things you can use that like they kind of just like fill the meta. I think they fill the metadata of your piece, of your file with like essentially a bunch of stuff that's going to fuck up keywords. So you can use the kind of keywords that you would personally post, and then it'll fill it with a bunch of unrelated ones, essentially. And they'll put like a very fine sort of filter over the piece, which can affect how it looks, but also it doesn't affect it that much, in my experience. Makes it look slightly crunchy, but it's like not that bad. Hmm, I want a bit more texture right there. Maybe I can just scratch it. Mm. Mm. Yeah, there is I don't know if she's still on DeviantArt, but Senshi Stock, who changed her name to Adorka Stock, she does like the best pose reference photos and stuff like that. And she now has like a full website and stuff and posts on other places, and there's a couple of items I really want from her shop that are just like, one of them is just a like a little flip book with a bunch of different hand positions, and there's another one full of feet. The kind of things where you might not want to be looking at them in public, but they look extremely useful. Just in case someone assumes you have a foot fetish or something. Most people would probably just be grossed out because people think feet are gross, but still. a dorkastock.com or .something, whatever. Really useful gesture drawing tool, amazing database of poses. Love her stuff. Ah, my legs. Ag. Okay. Right, I'm gonna try to do like a. Ow. Hold on. Try to do some wrist stretches. I can't. I've tried to make you wear shoes. I've been like, your shoes, they're untied. What if you trip? Oh no. And you'd be like, it's fine. I've been like, your shoes, they're falling off of your feet. And you'd be like, whatever. Over here refusing to wear shoes. And I'll be like, these are really nice shoes. Do you ever even wear these? And you'd be like, no, they're too nice.
Through the end of September, all the proceeds of my anti-AI posters are going to Stop Killer Robots,
She's a little
coalition that is working to ban
quiet.
autonomous lethal weaponry. Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and in artist communities all over the internet, there's one thing
I gotta do some like various stretches.
I feel like I regress. I can't
Stretch check, everyone.
My art has downgraded and I don't know how to fix it. I think I've regressed. What do you do when your art is moving backwards? I feel like my art has stagnated and not improved the entire time I've been drawing. As of recently, my art has regressed so badly, it looks like a child's art. Does anyone have the irrational fear of their art regressing? We need to talk about art regression, stagnation, and downgrades. I'm going to redraw a bunch of my old art, starting with this DeviantArt classic I did for the first time in 2010.
I don't really think art necessarily regresses. I think it just sort of, your style changes up.
Sometimes art school that seems to actually cause it. So most artists I know are always striving for improvement, so this idea of your art somehow going backwards is really scary. I used to obsess over art improvement to the point that I would feel physically nauseous if I flipped my art and saw it looked worse than how I had been perceiving it. I will also say, in some ways, these fears never go away, no matter how much success you've had or how much time you put into your art career. Before I started working on this redraw, I actually had a twinge of anxiety that I hadn't improved significantly enough in the last 9 years. It's really normal.
Well, as long as people aren't trekking in goat heads or dropping thumbtacks on the floor, it's probably fine.
A lot meaner, which does kind of justify why people's anxiety about this is going up.
I guess so.
Nice and supportive, the few comments I used to get on DeviantArt were when I was a beginner artist. I'm really touched, honestly, reading these back. I had no online clout at that point, and other artists said encouraging things, even though my skill level was pretty rudimentary at that point. I do think there is this conception that even when people are being really mean about people's art, they always, if they get any pushback, they'll be like, well, I just want them to get better. And there's this idea that every artist should have to endure like relentless mean comments or like really severe criticism at all
I can't find my right hand compression glove. Like, I still have a left hand compression glove,
made some pretty great strides,
which I do often wear because I use both my hands, but like still,
was positive feedback.
I don't know where the hell it is.
From adults in my life, nice people on the internet.
Wait, do I have?
I think that the benefits of being kind about someone's work.
Before I start doing a wash, I should make sure that I have
actually becoming a professional over time and like believing in
like a paper towel or something.
I think that we need a little balance.
Y'all just listen to this. I'll be back.
I do encourage people to be a little kind when they're looking at someone who's still learning. With my art here, what I really tried to focus on showcasing as far as things that I've been working on over all of this time since my last installment here, first of all, is actually a greater authenticity to the original character that I was going for. I feel like with the last one that I did, I kind of dodged the assignment, as it were. I did kind of a very different color palette, a different pose, and I really distracted, I think, with these crazy clouds of smoke from the character's mouth.
It's not a bad idea, actually, just turning it inside out.
Try to capture the energy and the vibe that I was trying to capture when I was a much younger artist back in 2010. I remember really focusing on the
one of my little chocolatey treats fell down. Okay.
Technique. I was very
put you away from the edge of the table.
So that was something I really wanted to focus on here.
Yeah, eat that soon.
I feel like I was also able to balance the stylization that I love so much my more recent art style by putting little skulls in that smoke without like totally distracting from the character in the face the way that I feel like I did with the smoke in the directly previous one. I also tried to incorporate the background in a way that was a little bit more
go for it.
honest to
Okay.
the original drawings that I did, while still adding in backgrounds, because I do
Good,
think that's
sinking
one of the
in.
biggest strides that I made as I went from like a true amateur to someone who's doing more work professionally. Nothing gets you used to drawing backgrounds quite like doing comic work, so
Oh yeah.
now I feel like I can do a more fleshed out background that really makes it feel like an illustration and not just a character standing there. I did change it up to a rusty chain link fence, and I tried to add a little bit more detail. I actually used references for the no smoking sign and the dumpster, which is a huge improvement for me. And then other than that, I was really trying to focus on guiding the eye and having the character be more emotive and expressive. It always bothered me how stone-faced this character was.
Yeah, the little chocolatey treat will be fine.
I'm supposed to feel about this character, so
Blew on
I
it, it'll
decided
be
to break
fine.
with tradition and actually give him a big ominous
It wasn't
smile
on the
with
floor
these,
for very long.
slightly asymmetric
And it
eyes
didn't
and
get covered in cat hair,
smirk
thankfully.
pushing up his cheek a little bit. I'm honestly really proud of how far I've
Okay,
come
good.
over all of this
Just trying to
time.
sink into all those little
And,
spots that I
highly
can't quite
recommend
reach
that you guys
otherwise.
do these types of challenges because I think it can remind you that you are still improving. It's a lot like growing taller as you age. You know, it's happening
gotta
so
check
slowly
on
to
B
you
to
that
see if
sometimes
they're
you don't
working on
notice it, so
the
it's good every once in a while
Pokemon
to just
challenge.
take a little
think
benchmark
so.
and see where you're at. So now I want to talk about the darker side of this art.
How did I miss that whole little
conversation,
section
and
there?
that's
Oh my
when
god.
people are applying it
I'll just
to
have to
other
repaint that in a minute.
I hesitated to make this video because these terms are also used in major harassment campaigns against certain artists, two of which got it so bad that their very names have become synonymous with this term
Oh.
because of the way that their art styles changed. Their art styles both became farther from realism with less detail or more stylization than mainstream
Oh
art
yeah, I was
styles,
wondering if
but-
that's what
and
she
I
was
shouldn't
talking
really even
about.
need to say this, that doesn't mean that their art is objectively worse. If it looks
Yeah.
worse to you, it's possible
Often
that their previous
stylization
art
just means
style
you're
was
finding your own
just closer to your
style.
taste, and that's
Realism
perfectly
doesn't
fine.
necessarily mean the art
It's
is
also
good
okay to
either.
critique people's art as long as it's
It's
done
just, you know,
respectfully and in
skilled.
the right situation, like in an art class or if someone is looking for advice. But the way that people turned against these artists as if they'd harmed someone or committed some moral sin is just absolutely insane to me. I don't feel comfortable doing a deep dive into either of those artists because I feel like they've already been harassed enough. But luckily for us, I have an example that I can more ethically talk about in depth, and that is the case of my art regression. I had my own little bout of being told that my art was regressing after the Hazbin Hotel incident. I've talked that topic to death, so I won't get into it, but I do want to talk about this as an example of how the appearance of art regression can pop up from very explainable situations. So for example, you look at these two pictures. One drawing is from a year prior to the other one. The older picture on the left is very clearly a higher skill level, with more confident lines and better design. So was this a genuine example of skill regression? I don't think so. because
Yeah,
within
no,
2
one
weeks
could
I
just
was
be like a
able
fun
to do
doodle
another redesign,
fan art.
and as you can see, the skill level seems to be back up to my usual. So why did this
Don't
actually
always have
happen?
to produce high
So in
quality
my case, this
masterworks.
happened because I had 3 unfortunate life events happen all around the same time. I hurt my back doing too long of hours on my comic work, and I was quite sick. You can actually hear it in my voice when you listen back to that video. And I kept his very yellowed teeth. And on top of that, I had just received some really scary and sad information about a family member who has now passed away, all around the same time. So my body and mind were doing really poorly. My back was hurting so bad as I was sitting in front of my tablet that I just wanted to draw as fast as possible, and in fact the majority of that video was really just talking about color palettes because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do my full like character design work. I felt so tired and sad and just like not like myself that it was hard to even care about YouTube, you know, especially when, you know, when you're dealing with like family tragedy, illness, that kind of stuff. It's really difficult to put in your full effort and energy into a video, and what I should have done probably was just not post anything. But I ended up thinking that a lower effort or lower energy video was better than no video at all for the people who watch my channel. I didn't think about it getting clipped out of context and blasted all over Twitter. Now, obviously, in my case, everything
That's
turned out
ridiculous.
fine. I'm not trying to throw myself a pity party here. I just think it was really helpful for me to understand kind of what might be going on with a lot of these like big famous art regression sort of like dogpile situations that have happened to other artists much worse than, you know, it happened to me. And in my case, like my cold got better, I was able to figure out some solutions for my back and I was able to deal with my emotional strain. So I was able to get back to normal pretty quickly, but that's not the case for everybody. You never really know what someone's going through, and it can really visibly affect their art. So I highly recommend not jumping onto a dog pile on some random artist, especially if they're not a full-time professional. Do not bully them. Do not pick on some random teenager. In my case, I've been through pretty brutal critique in art school, and I've been drawing almost daily since I was a child. And I have enough confidence that I don't totally freak out when I put out something that's not very good. There's some days where your hand is just not cooperating, like you just feel uncoordinated, your lines are wobbly. And then there's other times when your mind is not cooperating, like you can't focus, or all of a sudden you've lost the ability to intuit color or proportion, whatever. When those days come around now, I'm just like, you know, if I can do something else, I will try to do like different admin or writing or something. And if I have to draw on those days, then I just have to do it and know that it's not going to be my very best work. And I think that's something that's really hard for a lot of people to understand.
Man, there's a
is
couple
that
places I gotta
part of
touch up
being a professional
still.
artist, like if that's your main full-time
Just find that's a
income,
little bit
you're going
watery.
to have to produce art on days that you are not inspired, your hand is not cooperating, even during times of great strain and stress on yourself. And that is why you see professionals sometimes making like pretty rudimentary mistakes. When I was younger, I used to see examples of like art mistakes that comic artists would make or animators would make, and I would just think to myself, like, if I was a professional, I would never do that. I can't believe that all they do is draw all day and they're still making these types of mistakes. And in retrospect, like, that was such a ridiculous, childish notion.
Yeah.
The reason that they're making those mistakes is because they're having to make art under deadlines, and they're having to do it to literally keep a roof over their heads, you know? So I do think specifically when it comes to like criticizing manga artists whose art seems to have downgraded or whatever, or webcomic artists, or, you know, especially if you're getting something for free, I think it's also it's beneficial to be a little bit gentler, because I think that a lot of the times people are doing some pretty incredible stuff under really short time periods, and I think if we had the full context, you know, we wouldn't be quite so hard on them.
Yeah, I think anyone who's
So often
mean
art
to
school
webcomic artists for
is
not being
also
fast enough
implicated when it comes to talking about art regression, both from
needs
this like meme saying that other people
to
regress
be
after art
slapped in the
school,
face with
but also for people
just
who've
like a
been through art
2-day
school and
old
suddenly
dead
find
fish.
that they cannot draw anymore, or they hate everything that they draw.
Just a good whap.
So why does art school seem to make people worse, whether it's temporarily or even forever? There's a few things going on here, I think. So first, the most unkind read, and I think what a lot of people assume, is that art school is a bubble. You spend on average 4 years around only other artists who likely have much weirder tastes than the general public. Just as people who watch thousands of movies often end up developing niche taste and struggle to enjoy crowd pleasers because they're so familiar with popular tropes and formulas, art fanatics sometimes get bored with the visuals that many people like and seek out weirder or more experimental styles and images. This is a natural thing that happens, and I do think this is a part of it. Another big factor is that when you enter art school, a really common area of weakness is a lack of confidence to push style and poses. Stiffness in posing and a lack of experience in exploring other styles are really frequently things that new
What?
students need
Oda
to
was
work
forced
on.
to...
As a result,
Did he
art
write
schools
something
usually
else there and I
encourage
missed it? What the
students to
hell?
let go of these bad habits by pushing poses and stylization to the extreme. This can look
Oh,
really
okay.
weird to an outsider, but this is one of the fastest ways to unshackle yourself from being
Why
overly
was fucking
restrained.
Oda
And
One
usually
Piece
pushing up the
forced to
ceiling of how
apologize to
far you
Andrew
can go
Hussey?
really benefits your work in the long run. Reining
Fucking
all that
what?
wildness back in can take a little bit, and some people really enjoyed the new freedom, so it's totally understandable that many art students would stay in this ultra stylization phase, maybe for a short period after art school, maybe for longer. But again, this doesn't make the person's
Wrong
art
chat, huh?
worse
That's fine.
or mean anything bad about these people. I especially find that people really seem to lash out when people push like facial
Unless you're responding to something she
proportions
said and it
or
just got to
body
me too late because
proportions.
of lag.
There's this perception, I think, of like just making things ugly just for the sake of being interesting, and there's like this really negative connotation to that. But I think, especially for art students, that's not a weird thing at all. Like, being willing to go into ugliness is something that we are really used to, and we'll do on purpose. And I think that's hard for people who just think art equals pretty picture. You know,
Right.
bad art is ugly picture, good art is pretty picture. You know, they don't understand basically what's going on here. So I will say, if that's something that you're experiencing after art school, I don't think you should worry too much. If people are liking it a little less, it may just be because you were used to a very different environment, and things will probably mellow out over time. But if you have left art school and you feel like your art, that everything you make is terrible, this is a really common phenomenon, and it happened to me as well. I found that the art that I used to make basically compulsively as a younger person pre-art school was not coming naturally to me anymore after I graduated, and even during summers in between my years. I think a big part of that is just suddenly becoming so aware of how many rules there are to like technically great art. You know, there's worrying about tangents, there's all this color theory stuff, there's anatomy stuff.
Yeah,
And
you gotta
people who
remember
did
just loosen
studies
up and
stuff
enjoy
before
it.
you go to art school, being fully immersed in how many things can be wrong and get critiqued is really paralyzing for a lot of people. I do think that most people, even if they feel like they're strong enough to get critiqued every day, like for me, there were kids who would cry in class and they would get a harsh critique. I never got close to that. I always felt like I could handle it. But even for me, like the repeated exposure to negative feedback at like 8 a.m. in the morning, you know, standing next to the work that you worked really hard on, possibly for weeks and weeks, sometimes even for months. When you get really harsh feedback on that stuff over time, it does affect you. And I do think that like art school can be kind of traumatizing for some people. So if you've just come out of art school and you are not feeling like yourself, you're not feeling like drawing, if you're able to, like if you haven't immediately jumped into an industry job, I recommend only drawing the stuff
okay,
that
yeah.
used to make you excited about drawing as like a teen. This was my ultimate hack. This is my life hack for escaping that hypercritical, really painful, really unfun kind of period after art school. I learned so much there, but I do think like this is one of the hardest things for a art professional to go through. Is this post-art school slump, and not everyone gets hit with it. I don't mean to scare you guys, and I do think a lot of art schools are actually getting way less strict. I know ACAT has really pulled back on the sheer number of like thumbnails you had to turn in.
A blog post by Hussey a long time ago that I respected so hard I remembered it.
Kind of slower,
So he said that sometimes the reason he had just really a lot of space between updates and then like one huge update with a ton of material in it would be because he personally doesn't like to release or read things that are just drip updates. He likes to have a whole bunch of things in context all at once. And I was like, fuck yeah, I appreciate that. Because I also really like that. I don't like the drip.
What I want to finish this video up with is this. The idea that art is good or bad in this very like objective, consistent, provable way is not as helpful as you may think while you're developing on your art journey. I know it sounds like woo-woo, you know, BS that there's no good or bad in art, and I don't really believe that. I do think, like, especially with my own art, there's art that I've made that's legitimately bad. I just think it's not good. However, looking to especially like realism or like very specific art styles and saying that's good art and everything else is below this is a really limiting way of thinking about this very versatile world. You know, you look at a comic like this, if you just evaluate it based on how realistic it is or how detailed it is, you would say that this comic is not good, but I think this comic is really beautiful.
I can't read it here, but it's a comic, yeah.
Stylization, and
the writing is a big part of it. The flow doesn't have to be technically perfect.
So I think that that's good art. I think that thinking about art as a communication tool and really focusing on what you want to say with it can help you when you're really stressed about the technical skill and the improvement and the endless grind to get better. Learning to draw is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're actually gentler on yourself, you give yourself time to rest and recover, and you draw things that are genuinely fun for you, that will actually
Mm-hmm.
serve you in the long run more
Yeah,
than like
being good at art
brutalizing
is
yourself over
overrated.
every mistake and obsessively doing studies and being frustrated if you're not improving fast enough. And if you
Doing
see
something
posts or art drama
interesting
videos where someone's getting dogpiled for
and like
having
actually
ugly or
unique
cringy
is
or whatever kind of art, I
a lot
recommend
more
not
important.
watching or engaging with that kind of stuff because not only is it like mean bullying behavior that we shouldn't reward, but also because when you watch that kind of thing, it kind of enforces in your mind that everybody is judging your art and, you know, that you could get picked on at that kind of scale
Mm-hmm.
if you post something that doesn't look correct. And that's not healthy for your development either. I
Yeah.
hope this was helpful or at least entertaining. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much to my wonderful members and patrons, including Alice Exley, Nicole Morley, Roger Baker, Trexa Panda, Zio Reyes, Lucian, Shaola Ninja, Lexi Ramos, Lonely Zealot, Novel Goblin, The Mousy Mouse, Spark of Curiosity, Rosie Valentine, Paul Savanat, Frog Scourge, Chrono Klebs, Pinch Piplup the
Yeah.
Sleuth, Celery Sticks, I'm a Potato, Honey Kitten, Nee
I'm
Nico,
a potato.
Laura, Data, Lily McFarlane, Skitten, Gold Pikachu, Ace Wander, Jordan, QB, Jeffu, Songbird Galesworth, Sunshine, Whimsic, Hoodle Doodle, River de Goblin, Raz Taroche, Graveyard Moss, Grexius, Emmy Lightning, The Midwestern Menace, CB, Lucy Yamajiki, Live Live, Ravenscrow, Zocelot, Keyhole Music, Jabber Dabber Doo, Light Jewel, Kadaria, The Expressive Poker Face, Tsuvaki, Cutie Pie, Ice Cream Pal, Cola, JJ Jade, and of course, Lib 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 Lib.
I think another reason I'm missing a lot of this is because I'm working with like one light that is over there in a dark room, and the shadows hide a lot of details. Could probably turn on my overhead light, but I'm being stubborn because I'm kind of used to working like this now. Okay. Couple of spots I want to dry out a little bit more. Realize this part won't even necessarily be seen, but that's fine. I'll know it's there. Okay. Sort of add a little bit more of a highlight to this, like, ridge here. Sure do like to draw your friends. Jibber jibber doo. Oh yeah, multiply is like a really useful thing for multiply is let's say if you draw something on like paper and then you scan it or take a picture of it, if you set that layer that the drawing is on the paper to multiply, you can color underneath it. That's like an old technique for doing line art on paper and then doing colors digitally. So multiply tends to kind of take out anything that is too light. Okay, looking nice and dry. I do like this sort of ashy, dusty color, and I do want to weather this little piece of fabric that I want to make be like a rug. I'm gonna, I want it to look like really dusty, so sort of carefully kind of dust this up. Make it look like unevenly dusty, so it kind of looks like air is blowing through a little broken window here and getting dust places. That'll be like inside there like that, so yeah, most of the dust will be on this side probably. If it works, it works. I often like to play with I like to play with the layers, the layer settings and stuff like that. Like I have been getting into sort of more of like a paintery kind of style where I carefully like choose everything, but sometimes if I just want to like put shadows on a bunch of things, but I still want the colors to match, I'll like make the shadow layer multiply or screen or something, or sometimes overlay, just really depending on what the mood is. Sometimes I'll just indecisively go through like I'll just go through every setting just to see which one I like best. A little bit of water in there. That's fine. Okay. I have that in there, and it's going to be kind of tilted. Can also dust up the floor a whole bunch. Also, like, should I make it look like their wear patterns? That could be cool. Like, so the floor is like lightened where Or people have stepped on it multiple times, like on this little entryway, maybe. I don't know. I could also try darkening in the corners. Mm. Ow, ow, ow. Stretch my neck a bit. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I do have some sandpaper. I was thinking of scrunching them up a little bit. I did try a little bit of sandpaper on this, and it wasn't really doing anything. I think it's just because, like, the way it is. Make it look a little bit caked up, as if, not caked up. Caked on, as if, like, maybe rain and moisture has gotten through the window and, like, dried dust onto the carpet. And the rest of it I can just make look kind of moderately dusty. Oh, I should also put dust on the beanbag. I'm not going to use my Dremel on this. It's way too small. I don't know. Like, you're going to be passing it on to either Marcirez or BK, so big enough that they can see what the design is and be able to take that design and, like, you know, be inspired by it for the next Pokemon, the middle evolution, and then again for the final Evo. I didn't really have any plans of, like, putting them together or anything like that. I was just gonna post the separate files because, like, whatever. Okay. I usually think in pixels for digital art. Pixel resolutions keep getting smaller and smaller, so... Okay, it's sinking in a bit, so that's fine. Dab it on a bit too hard at first. And make the beanbag look dusty. Like, I want the vibes to be like you find this old abandoned treehouse. You just kind of wonder why it was ever abandoned. There's still going to be some toys and comic books and this little beanbag chair and the rug and like a magazine and stuff. And be a little dartboard on the wall. And of course a couple little ghosts because that's cute. I want the inside to feel like old stale air. But not too stale, because there is a break in the window, so it gets some airflow. Looks pretty good. Dusty old beanbag. Ah. A little neck stretch. Today I woke up early to give a friend a ride, mostly because I wanted to try to use it to adjust my sleep schedule. So I'm hoping when I finally go to bed I'll be so tired that I won't accidentally stay up till 4 a.m. again. Sure. Do like, I don't know, like at least 900 wide, 300 DPI. You don't even need that good resolution really, but I have to kind of consider where the door is. I don't have to, but I would like to. Slightly big, but it should be fine. There we go. I can kind of make it look like the door is scraped against the floor. And also, like, the wind has blown some of the dust out of the way. Try to wear down this a little bit. More now. Okay, I think for the inside I'll like darken up the corners. And I still have to do some like weathering and darkening on this. I might put a black wash on it because, alright. The tree is now pretty dramatically like very dark gray. I wanted it to be a bit more brown, but I think I just added too much black and it dried very gray. So I think I'm gonna have to like I really like how the tree looks though. Okay, so I think I'm gonna darken up the house more instead of trying to lighten up the tree because I already really like how the tree looks. Mm. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Nice. Mm. Mm. This is pretty much dry. I do have to put a little bit more black paint in the hollow, but I got some frickin' dirt and small pebbles from the yard, and I need to slather glue all over the base and then put actual dirt on it. Because you know what's great for texturing terrain to look like dirt? Dirt. Yeah, it looks nice and dusty now. Freaking... My left trapezius keeps, like, seizing up. Ow. Chaz and Zach. Literally just Chaz backwards. Okay. Got my dirt. Got my glue. I realized I didn't get somebody to catch the dirt. Hold on, I'm gonna go get like a little tray thing. Ow. I recommend everyone get up and do a little stretch if you are able to do that. If you can't get up, maybe do a stretch where you are. Ow. And drink of water. Maybe lay down and crumble into a million particles. Ow. Oh yeah, total coincidence. Okay. Alright. Work on covering this in glue. Got these little tufts of grass that I made out of some strands of thread that I lazily left on my sewing table after using some beige thread. So good going, man. Forgetting to clean up those threads was actually totally useful because I could use it for my trash art. Pick up a section at a time. Gotta keep the grass from getting stuck in there. Mom. time for dirt. Try to be sort of careful with this. I'm gonna like make a little scoop. Some little rocks in there. Tamp that down. It's like applying glitter, except it's dirt. The Earth's glitter. You okay, baby? Pistachio's been having like a weird persistent cough. Made an appointment for a vet, but they're booked up for a little while, so I gotta wait for that. I may contact them to see if they have an earlier appointment. I don't know why she's coughing. Okay, baby. You okay, baby? Do you need more Laxatone? Cat, are you coming down here? Careful, careful. Careful. You coming down? Should I move more stuff? Up, okay. There you go. You just want to be on my lap? Okay. Poor baby's full of sneezes and coughs. Not dry? Yeah, that's dry. The excess bits. There we go. Okay, the grass looks alright. Looks like some scrungly, dry, deserty kind of grass. The kind where you're not entirely sure if it's alive or not. That's good. That's what I'm going for. I still have to make like a little, then make like a little rope ladder. And some like little support railings on the side of the like door landing thing. And okay. I gotta remember to seal all this dirt down later, because I do not want this shedding dirt everywhere. It's also why I can't put too much moss, although I am tempted to. And gotta very strategically, carefully place the moss so that it's not in places that are gonna like rub up against anything or be touched a lot. This is going to a place where, according to the instructions, it's going to be moved around a whole bunch. So it can't be made of any delicate materials, because they're just going to fall off and crumble and cause problems for the organizers. Although the temptation to cover everything in moss is very strong. had espresso macchiato stuck in my head for like 3 days. It's okay, but also that's just like every time I'm not rambling about something, espresso macchiato is playing in my head. Mm. Mm. This side will not dry as. Yeah. Well, let me watch this. Yes, please. Oh. It.
Mi amore, espresso macchiato, 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 por favore, espresso macchiato, corneo. Mi amore, espresso macchiato, 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 por favore, espresso macchiato, espresso macchiato. Ciao Bella, I'm Tommasio, addicted to tobacco. Me like me coffee very importante. No time to talk, scusi. My days are very busy, and I just own this little ristorante. Life may give you lemons when dancing with the demons. No stresso, no stresso, no need to be depresso. Mi amore, espresso macchiato, 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 por favore, espresso macchiato, corneo. Mi amore, espresso macchiato, 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 por favore, espresso macchiato, espresso macchiato. Me like to fly privati,
Yep.
with 24 carati. Also mi casa very grandioso.
If you know enough Spanish, you also know a little bit of Italian.
I work around the clock, that's why I'm sweating like a mafioso. Life is like spaghetti, it's hard until you make it. No stress, it's gonna be espresso. Mi amore, espresso macchiato, 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 por favore, espresso macchiato, espresso macchiato. Espresso macchiato.
Spanish and Italian are like they're real close. They're very similar. mash some of those down real good. Heck, I guess there wasn't enough glue there. To go over some of the other spots later and redo them. Sounds like you're having fun experimenting. I think the cat messed up my camera a little bit earlier and I didn't realize it. Ow. I heard some concerning noises in the kitchen. I don't know if the cats are causing problems. Hold on. Also, restroom break. What are they doing in there? Pistachio was licking chicken grease out of a bowl that got left on the counter. Hope it doesn't make her sick. If I can get this first dirt application done tonight, that would be a lot of progress. So I will have the tree mostly done. Besides, I need to put some more dark in there, and I may go back in with some brown. I really like how dead it looks, but also I'm I want it to be a bit more brown. But got some good progress on that. Base is turning out really good. And I should be able to just continue putting together little tiny details for the inside. I made a tiny book, so I need to try to get my smallest pen out and put a little title on it. It says like horror stories or something, ghost stories. And I have little papers that I folded to be like little comic books, so I gotta make like little fake comic books to put on the floor. And I gotta put the darts laying around and put the dartboard up and put one of the darts stuck in the window. I don't know what else I'll do with it. Maybe I could put like a tiny cassette player with some cassettes in it or something. I want it to look like it is like old. Like the kind of treehouse I would have liked to have as a kid, except I didn't get to have a treehouse because the one tree we had that was big enough for that would have been really dangerous to put a treehouse in. That tree was too big. She might still get sick later. A whole bowl. Wow, Jesus Christ. That's fucked up. I would have made sure everyone knew it was my sibling. It's probably good that I don't have siblings. I don't think that would have helped. Put more glue there. Oh. Um, that's messed up. Oh. If you're gonna adopt a pet, you have to take responsibility for it. You can't just be like, yeah, nah, screw it, I don't want this living creature that is now relying on me and other people for support and living. Oh. I try. It's hard when your cat is determined to give herself digestive issues. Make some more glue later after this all dries down and put a bit more like up here to kind of pat it out. Oh, ow, posture check. Aww. You know when your back just starts hurting? Ow. Mm. Ow, ow, ow. Oh. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, like, you know, thank God she grew up to take care of them properly, because if you just said, like, she has a kid now, I'd be like, she shouldn't. No, she's actually doing better, that's good. Ah, whoops. Fuck. Trying to be all careful about not getting dirt all over my desk. I spilled dirt on my desk. Well, it's not all over the place, at least. Just put a ton of cat hair into here. Not dry, but almost done covering the base with this first one. You can name if you want. Mark didn't name his yet. I figure any that don't get named, we can just come up with names for them during the reveal. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. 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 Although I really don't like video editing because I don't have the patience for it. I'm kind of wondering if I should like go through my recordings and throw together like a quick video, and then I could like print out a little QR code or something so that when people see the tree at the auction, they could see a progress video. I don't know. I think stuff like that is fun. Mm. Sweet. That's fine. Starters don't need to do much. They just need to be a little guy who has the potential to become a bigger guy. Alright, gotta get those places marked, and then Squirt out a nozzle. There we go. I think the way a couple of YouTubers I follow who do this similar kind of like junk crafting and putting dirt on things and stuff, I think they like, yeah, they usually like water down some PVA glue, which is what I've been using, and then put it in like a spray bottle or put it in like a wash sort of thing, and then put a layer of that on top of the dirt to keep it all in place. And that's probably what I'll have to do with all this. Yeah, there's a little bit right there. There's a tiny bit of the foil showing, and it's just kind of hollow. I think I'm gonna have to like, there's a few little bits over here too. I'm gonna have to let this all hang out. Let this all rest for overnight. And then I can, come back to it tomorrow and see any little spots I missed that I couldn't see before. Oh, there's just like a whole little blank spot there. Well, that's fine. Because I gotta let this round of glue dry before I put too much stuff on it. Shake off the excess. Yeah, totally like just like go down the little list of layer settings and just like try different things. Could even give you inspo for some other stuff. Patting down all the dirt into the glue. Sure smashes in there real good. It's too shiny. Cover that with some dirt later. Okay, I think I might like try to seal this with the watered down glue tomorrow after making sure this all sets, then let that dry. Just to make sure this layer is set down as well as I can get it. I like really saturate that glue in there. I do. Nah, I was thinking I have a spray adhesive. It's like tacky spray, but I should be careful with that because it might just make the surface sticky. Because I think that's better for like when you need to adhere two things together really flatly. So it would be better to do like the glue wash where I water it down and then let it sort of sink in and let it dry. Whoops. Oh, there. Still not sure if I want to like. Well, there is like the label of the candle company on the bottom that this lid came off of. I was considering where would it be, like down here. I was considering painting a tiny skeleton curled up on the bottom. If there was someone buried under the tree, I might do that. But also, I don't really want it to look like the treehouse is haunted because someone died there. Like they fell off the rope ladder or something. I want it to look like it's it's supposed to be like memories, like melancholy, nostalgia kind of feeling. But I do also kind of want to put a skeleton at the bottom because that would be spooky. And that could still be symbolic. It could be symbolic or literal. Art can be anything you want it to be. Okay, I gotta get this back into here. I use this as like a funnel sort of thing. Go. Okay. I'm quite happy with how it's turning out so far. Makes me want to work on more minis, which I really should do because I've been meaning to do more for like Bubonicon. I haven't. Put that in here and then over here. The cat doesn't knock it over. Put that over there. If I don't leave like a little avenue through the middle of the table, anything there is in danger of cats. Okay, sweet. It has been an hour and 57 minutes, which is close enough to 2 hours, and I'm tired and my back hurts and I want to lay down and hopefully fall asleep really fast. Oh, I have to put the rice away. Okay, well, I'll put the rice away. That'll make me all tired. A little caramel. Okay. Hydration check. Clean the brush. I'll go pour this water out. Okay. Pretty happy with how it's coming on. It makes me want to work on more of my miniatures, which is good because I have a lot of little projects to work on that I really should. And sometimes I just gotta procrastinate on a project for an entire year and then do it during the last month. I mean, usually you only have a month to do it, but they don't say anything about starting early, so I was gonna start a year ahead, but then I didn't. Anyway, sometimes procrastinating on a project and then trying to do it in the last few weeks is the motivation you need to just get silly with it. Yeah, I really like the awkward teenage stages of middle Pokemon evolution. Sometimes they're kind of forgettable because they're not as interesting as like the first form or the final, but they have like a lot of character, you know. Okay. Sign off postures and stretches and hydrates and clean out your paint water and don't mix up your paint water with your tea and put your rice away and get the good sleepy times. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Torchic to Blaziken, pretty hardcore evolution there. And get the good sleepy times and draw Pokemon and good night.